Today we're going to break down G2's comeback after being down 8-15 on CT side Mirage versus NIP during the Blast Spring groups. Now to preface what happened before this point, NIP was able to take mid control and punish G2's mid players who were overextending, and by punishing these players it also put the extremity players in unfavorable positions that they couldn't get out of. So with their backs against the wall at 15-8, what do they do? G2 are going to do something they haven't done all half, and that's to give up middle and focus on the extremities. What's going to happen here is that m0NESY is going to bring his op close A ramp, and Jax actually smokes the Molotov at A ramp in a way that produces a gap for m0NESY, which can be a bit of a trick to the T's who might be expecting the smoke to cover the entire entrance. And Jax, after throwing the smoke, he's going to go on top of the box to watch Palace, and this is the setup. m0NESY watching ramp and Jax watching Palace up close, and they're going to help each other when it's needed. NIP go for an A pop, and m0NESY hits the first kill using the gap and falls back blind from the flashes. Then since Jax is close by and not blinded by the flash, he's able to swing around and catch Hampus coming out. And this is the power of the setup. If the T's flash over ramp, since Jax is playing anti-flash in a way by holding Palace, he's not going to get blinded. Notice here as well that he doesn't just simply turn around, he also drops down from the brick so that he creates a headshot angle for himself towards the ramp player, and so that the potential Palace player would have to come all the way out to be able to trade. And Nico, who's usually the connector player for G2, he swings out to help despite opening himself up to Palace, and that's because with the timing of the utility, many times the Palace player won't commit to peeking towards the stairs jungle area without either the smokes or flashes popping in that area. So with the nades still flying in the air, he knows that he's ahead of the timing, so he uses it fully to shut down the A push, to then put them in a 5v2 that they end up winning. Now at 9-15, G2 go for the same idea, focus more on the extremities. Towards the A site, m0NESY goes for a fast Palace pick, Jax smokes ramp, and he plays close sandwich. Now, I want you to notice the way that Jax positions himself. He puts himself at an angle to play anti-flash to one of the most common flashes when the T's hit A, the lamp flash. Since the box is covering the flash, he doesn't get blinded and nets these 2 kills before going down. And this flash hitting is what NIP were relying on. Since Hampus and Plopsky are still gray screened when they're running out of the smoke, this small detail by Jax positioning himself not to get hit by this flash makes all the difference. Now after Jax goes down, notice here that m0NESY, rather than trying to trade from Palace, he pushes more into Palace to try to find the possible A Palace player who's typically here during these types of pushes. And that opens up an opportunity for Nico to actually push through the blooming smokes without having to worry about Palace. And his kill on Rez shuts down the A push and puts them up in a 4v2 that they eventually convert into their 10th round. Now at 10-15, G2 know that NIP are low on money, so Jax is going to play a little bit further back towards Ticket Booth and take the longer range engagements with the help of this Molotov that he's using as a one-way, and these kills from Jax seal their 11th round. Now at 11-15, round 27, this is going to start off with some mid-control taken by NIP, where Hunter dies on Cat, and then m0NESY is going to trade from the window position, resulting in this 4v4. Now notice a couple things in this moment. G2 aren't in a great position right now because NIP has full mid control. They have connector and ladder room in a 4v4, and if G2 stay in this position, it would make it very hard to hold any sort of split or full hit because neither of the rotation players can commit to helping their teammates in the site. Now the solution to this is that Jax will try to push Palace for information. If he doesn't see anybody, then this will allow G2 to play 2 dedicated at the B site while Nico will float the mid position. And if they come back A through connector, then Jax at least has Palace. So we're going to see this plan in motion. Take a look at the radar. Jax is pushing into Palace, and m0NESY is committing to the B site. And with Jax not really seeing anything, Nico's going to use the only resource available for him to take a peek at mid. He's going to phase the smoke, and catches Plopsky heading up towards Catwalk, which highly suggests a B hit. m0NESY uses his smoke for upper B, and catches Hampus trying to get ahead of the smoke, and just like that, it's now a 4v2. And Jax, who pushed into Palace to create the rotation into B, is finally sprung into action for the final scenario that I talked about earlier, and that's if the T's went through connector. Now, small detail, but this is good discipline by Jax by not peeking after getting this kill, not getting greedy for that last kill, and just ensuring that the final T doesn't have an opportunity to pull off a big clutch. Now 12-15, anti-eco round. NIP go for a B hit with about 20 seconds left, and the main thing I want to highlight here from G2 is the coordination from Hunter and Alexi B at this B bomb site. The initial setup, you'll see that Hunter's holding upper B and Alexi B holding short. This is a nice two-way bait and switch setup where you'll see as soon as Alexi B takes contact from short, Hunter, who was originally holding upper B, switches to short, and Alexi B now switches to upper B. These types of setups are especially great against ecos, as usually the T's won't have too much utility that could break the setup. 13-15 now, G2 are getting very close. Now in this round, NIP have full mid control in a 5v5, and once again we're focusing on the B site. Hunter and Alexi B are going to set up what I like to call the full bait setup. Hunter is basically going to sit on the balcony while Alexi B plays Van with the sole intention of fighting to his death at this position. All Hunter will do is simply just sit here, and you'll see why in a moment. As the hit comes in, Alexi B shows himself to the T's coming up from short and throws a Molotov upper to try to delay. Hunter here does not peek at all, and all Alexi B is trying to do is to force the T's to clear him so they don't check Hunter at balcony. The thinking behind this setup is to make NIP think that the upper B position is clear when it's truly not. So Alexi B, he's willing to die here so that it sets up Hunter in a situation where NIP don't think there's a second player in this position, and Hunter capitalizes on it perfectly. Now why did this work so well? One reason is because over the course of the match, NIP figured out that Alexi B is the B anchor player and confirmed that Hunter is still playing short. So when they kill Alexi B at the Van position, a common position for B anchors to hold, it's reasonable to believe that this area is clear. The key thing to note here is that this probably wouldn't have worked if it was Hunter who died at the Van position instead, because NIP would realize that Alexi B, the upper B player, is still alive somewhere, which would force them to be more thorough. But because they execute this out properly, it gives G2 enough time for the rotators to squeeze the T's out of the post plant and get the 14th round. Now the final round, the half 14-15, we see another setup towards B where Alexi B and Hunter attempt a simple bait setup where the idea is that Alexi B will take first contact from bench while Hunter hides in the get right position to capitalize on the second contact. As NIP come up towards short, Alexi B gets a kill on the first contact, but Hunter gets cleared, and Alexi B is left to fend the site for himself. His close rotator Nico helps by throwing a flash to help him peek towards short and get a kill, but ultimately he falls peeking towards default. But this is not an empty death, he actually spots two. And this is important because Nico actually spots one crossing towards the bench also, so G2 know exactly where all three players are. Off this information, Nico's going to push through the window, and notice that m0NESY is holding directly in front of him, so Nico only has to worry about the bench player peeking him as he comes out, and as well he passed himself directly towards the pillar so that even if the planter peeked him towards window, he'd have to take a much wider angle to be able to see him. And as Nico creeps up, because of his forward positioning, he catches the first flare boosted on site, and after he gets his kill, take a look at how he doesn't commit to this next kill on the fight bench. Instead, he waits for his teammates to squeeze him from both short and market, because he knows that by him just simply being alive in this position, it makes it very hard for the T's to flush him out because of the positioning his teammates have. And as NIP have a man disadvantage, they have to take fights, and Jax wins his against Hampus at bench. Then m0NESY gets the last kill on Esotag, which completes the comeback at 15-15. And that also concludes this video. If you guys enjoyed this, please like, comment, subscribe. It means so much to me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.